For special education assessment, there's several things happening at once. First, you have to create the material based on the material created for that quarter, semester, or year, using their goals according to the standard. You have to assess if this is the performance you would typically expect from this child, as well as what you would expect, so you can determine if they did better on the day of the test or worse. I hope this makes sense, because like I said, the first time I say anything, it's always a little difficult to get out. I have to hear myself and my learning style has changed dramatically. I have to stay in the moment without the benefit of note-taking or hearing my own voice. All right, week 1, day 5 is assessment day, and that's your introduction. Thank you. The internal, external, this verbal hurdle. You wanna know what it's like to be stuck in a loop-de-loop that you can't rewrite. You wanna walk with me for a day in my shoes. Oh no, you don't. But no boo-hoos. As long as there's no boo-hoos, lock the door. Get what the public wants and more. The truth. It's a verbal hurdle like murder. Fear is everywhere, so we're gonna go to a land long ago. Kind of far away. It's a place called Lincoln Park. That's where we start our spark. Where I put all my creative spark into a classroom. The truth. Didn't you know? In my dreams, there's screams of ecstasy and fear.
Right, well, it's super duper early late. Got 2 linear stories going on. That's gonna be. So remember, this will all be put away some way. Linear story. They don't have to be stories. When I say stories, a novella. It could be poems. That's the goal. So yeah, 12 pieces of writing. So overwhelming, but that's the point. I want to overwhelm the system until I recognize what is it that you gotta really tell me. Want to write and some about. Of these kids don't know what they mostly like. Expose them to things. Repeating. If you don't see it, I'll see it, and I'll say, hey, I think something changed. Do you feel different? Central nervous system. Now I'm listening to some of my stuff. And some of the first stuff that's coming out. I mean,
words were I'm gonna be crystal clear. Try to be crystal clear. The speech pathologist showed me she can change then the goal. They told the intention and motivation behind their lazy. It's insecurity, inadequacy, inability to do your job. Lazy. These are words we can't use, so instead just call people crazy. Hit them again, so they're in a daze for days. And that's where we start our play. Hey. So I'm dropping the seeds verbally. Everyone's a little different, and that's the point. He said, you had the choice to leave. No, I didn't. My neurologist needed to get back to me. So her delay
isn't pretty, but it is modeling the process. And the pictures with the butterflies.
In my play. Hey! It's a theme. Act 2, planting the seed. Teachings about integrity. I've already learned it. It's been put inside of me. I can have the best life. It's up to you. Go be a husband, go be a wife. But when you go to your parents and horrible is do what you wanted to do. But you abused the cat in front of me. Sabotaged his recovery. Because you didn't care about my history.
In a line waiting for CVS. Okay. And that really does disturb me.
All of the time are these truly victimless crimes. Unless survivor victim. Not only will they not listen to you, but they make it their excuse. So they talk behind the scenes. Gossip, it's the worst. When I'm done, you'll know what I mean. So try very hard to teach your kids this lesson, please. Don't talk about others. It might come back to your sisters and brothers. And if you raise kids differently about money, expect some jealousy. They had to listen to all of that crap, thinking, well, this is just the way people are, right? We just have to suck it up. No thanks, no defense, any of that. 'Cause there's no justification. But I've been here before. So casual busyness to share something I've learned about the specialist, the most special kids. They tell you everything they need and why you have to truly be partnership. Been through the worst of it, and now I've learned from the shittiest shits that's in school, that's in home, and a different that place. I'm not really wanting to because share. I said I would model this one. Needed my face, voice, body, and identity back. That's teacher, wife, and one more, survivor, victim. It's a fact. Because nobody knows about share me things super slowly. And only because I don't really understand how it works. Why we start on Christmas. Somebody had a temper tantrum and everyone dismissed it. And I thought, well, isn't this the behavior you explained to me? Is this it? Because you just need to tell her, we're not having kids. Yes, family, women, thank you. Children for. And that's why he never wanted to question. To all the groups that know somebody like them for that, really showing their true selves. And that's why there is a purpose to tragedy. All right, I'm in the midst of doing several projects at once, the toggle back and forth so that I can get ahead of vestibular vertigo, to share that therapy, so that I can comfortably talk about it and not be returned to those places, spaces, and lose my voice again. My pain is changed slightly. I call it a brain drain because it's mental fatigue and fine motor. And that's movement. That's why the symptoms are triggers from audio, visual, tactile, and instant replays that keep you up at night. You only get one life, one ride. Try to do it right, or be prepared for that fall. When people fall off cliffs, I kept in visualizing this. The internal, external, this verbal hurdle, it's like murder or getting murdered. Anytime in my life, my husband would kill me because I was his wife, and he told me it's life insurance, the things that but that's what he cares about most, because the other I get it. Questions he'd ignore. So we're moving into avoidance. So avoidance is a mental illness marker, and I kept saying, well, I'm avoiding going outside because I don't want to fall. The avoidance of dealing with the task, and that's the voice of an anxious mama drama rama saying, gosh, it's so confusing. He can do so many great things in his head, memorize sports teams and statistics. I can't seem to find his shoes. And the word research, and I have to work. And then telling me, did you know that it takes some people days to do projects I can do in hours? And I said, yeah, because you're super smart, and you the conversation I have to work. Just re-triggered all the times you bullied me to go to Vegas. Whole year. Really? You're not going to hire a teacher for these kids, so what do they get? Don't get a substitute discrimination teacher. Get it? They don't best stuff to battle the worst, and I got the worst. I told you. Done. And then hopefully with all of that refortification, because they have federal and especially a whole so year. So we're going to start with local government, NWMH, Memorial Hospital, local government. I just said, and a couple other places that, quite frankly, tell me my body is poppity pop 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 tightening. Probably is from talking, but also no gossip. If you say something contradictory, I'm going to make you own your words because it's crap. And rape culture, and I'm understanding that because you need one to do the deed and another to protect. Thank you, tag teams. You get it all. That's your PTSD, your anxiety, your lying, your not wanting to take care of a disabled wife, everyone on Prozac, drinking in the middle of the day, whatever you need to get through in life. But I'd rather just face it, and that's why I said I'm really underweight. I'm Asian, I'm petite stature, but I also know the next thing to go after fat and muscle are my organs. So you're trying to kill me. And I also have cancer, so I have to take my medication. And the first way to kill someone is to deny them the insurance so that they can afford their medication, and that's where we begin. Thank you. And then hopefully with all of that refortification and extra defense to say, oh yeah, I can talk about these things, I get to move on swiftly and then be able to talk about violence openly, because like I said, the difference is I have a family, know that could happen, and people do not, or they don't want their family, and that's it. The worst I just said, the second layer of the worst is a little darker and more sick, and then the final layer of the worst shit, quite frankly, is going to have a positive ending, believe it or not, because I had to, because I was a school teacher, and now I don't have to talk anymore. Okay, bye. And that's the whole point. I can take my story and say, see ya, but I'd rather share it and show to people immediately, hey, you got someone dealing with PTSD or chronic pain or assault or violence, and they get a little nutty and stuck on Ask them a question about it. Write that shit down. I want to read about it. Encourage them to get their story out and to get help. I want to say hello. Sorry. I said that and he's probably right there. That's a bad habit of mine. All right. Whew. All right, I'm getting going now. And the biggest thing is being able to make daily memories. Whew. How to make 1-2 sequences day after day after day. And that's the linear story. Sharing a linear story.
Riding horses like you do in medieval times, what kind of vehicle you drove. So now that question is answered. well, I'm not going to give too much away, but it's going to be about this person that
shows up out of nowhere